Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Activity by a military or naval force, as a maneuver or campaign. It was a joint operation of the Navy and Air Force. A process or series of acts, especially of a practical or mechanical nature, involved in a particular form of work. The operations in building a house. Mathematics, calculation by mathematical methods. They were learning the basic operations of arithmetic. A medical procedure involving an incision with instruments, performed to repair damage or arrest disease in a living body. They will schedule the operation as soon as an operating room is available. Process or manner of functioning or operating. The power of its engine determines its operation. Psychology, the performance of some composite cognitive activity, an operation that affects mental contents. The cognitive operation of remembering. A business, especially one run on a large scale. A large-scale farming operation. A planned activity involving many people performing various actions. They organized a rescue operation. Computer science, data processing in which the result is completely specified by a rule, especially the processing that results from a single instruction. It can perform millions of operations per second. The activity of operating something, a machine or business, etc. Her smooth operation of the vehicle gave us a surprisingly comfortable ride. The state of being in effect or being operative. That rule is no longer in operation. Activity by a military or naval force, as a maneuver or campaign. A process or series of acts, especially of a practical or mechanical nature, involved in a particular form of work. A set sequence of steps, part of larger computer program. A particular course of action intended to achieve a result. The procedure of obtaining a driver's license. A mode of conducting legal and parliamentary proceedings. Mathematics, calculation by mathematical methods. Mathematics, calculation by mathematical methods. The problems at the end of the chapter demonstrated the mathematical processes involved in the derivation. A room in a hospital equipped for the performance of surgical operations. A medical procedure involving an incision with instruments, performed to repair damage or arrest disease in a living body. He died while undergoing surgery. A room where a doctor or dentist can be consulted. He read the warning in the doctor's surgery. The branch of medical science that treats disease or injury by operative procedures. He is professor of surgery at the Harvard Medical School. A medical procedure involving an incision with instruments, performed to repair damage or arrest disease in a living body. A medical procedure involving an incision with instruments, performed to repair damage or arrest disease in a living body. A medical procedure involving an incision with instruments, performed to repair damage or arrest disease in a living body. Process or manner of functioning or operating. Performing or able to perform its regular function. A functioning flashlight. A dramatic or musical entertainment. They listened to 10 different performances. Process or manner of functioning or operating. They compared the cooking performance of each oven. The act of performing, of doing something successfully, using knowledge as distinguished from merely possessing it. They criticized his performance as mayor. Any recognized accomplishment. They admired his performance under stress. The act of presenting a play or a piece of music or other entertainment. We congratulated him on his performance at the rehearsal. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. The cognitive operation of remembering. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. A natural prolongation or projection from a part of an organism, either animal or plant. A bony process. A writ issued by authority of law. Usually compels the defendant's attendance in a civil suit. Failure to appear results in a default judgment against the defendant. Shape, form, or improve a material. Process iron. Deliver a warrant or summons to someone. He was processed by the sheriff. A sustained phenomenon or one marked by gradual changes through a series of states. Events now in process. Institute legal proceedings against. File a suit against. He was warned that the district attorney would process him. March in a procession. They processed into the dining room. A particular course of action intended to achieve a result. It was a process of trial and error. Psychology. The performance of some composite cognitive activity. An operation that affects mental contents. The process of thinking. A mental process that you are not directly aware of. The process of denial. Subject to a process or treatment, with the aim of readying for some purpose, improving, or remedying a condition. Process cheese. Deal with in a routine way. Process alone. Perform mathematical and logical operations on data, according to programmed instructions in order to obtain the required information. The results of the elections were still being processed when he gave his acceptance speech. An organic process that takes place in the body. Respiratory activity. The state of being active. His sphere of activity. The trait of being active, moving or acting rapidly and energetically. The level of activity declines with age. A process existing in or produced by nature, rather than by the intent of human beings. Volcanic activity. Any specific behavior. They avoided all recreational activity. Chemistry. The capacity of a substance to take part in a chemical reaction. Catalytic activity. Make uniform. Work the clay until it is soft. Perform as expected when applied. This old radio doesn't work anymore. Be employed. Is your husband working again? Applying the mind to learning and understanding a subject, especially by reading. Mastering a second language requires a lot of work. Have and exert influence or effect. The artist's work influenced the young painter. Make something, usually for a specific function. Cause to happen or to occur as a consequence. I cannot work a miracle. The occupation for which you are paid. A lot of people are out of work. Cause to work. He is working his servants hard. Find the solution to a problem or question, or understand the meaning of. This unpleasant situation isn't going to work itself out. A product produced or accomplished through the effort or activity or agency of a person or thing. It is not regarded as one of his more memorable works. Have an effect or outcome, often the one desired or expected. The voting process doesn't work as well as people thought. Use or manipulate to one's advantage. She knows how to work the system. Proceed along a path. Work one's way through the crowd. Prepare for crops. Shape, form, or improve a material. Work stone into tools. A place where work is done. He arrived at work early today. Cause to undergo fermentation. The vintner worked the wine in big oak vats. The total output of a writer or artist, or a substantial part of it. Picasso's work can be divided into periods. Give a workout to. My personal trainer works me hard. Go sour or spoil. The wine worked. Activity directed toward making or doing something. She checked several points needing further work. Arrive at a certain condition through repeated motion. The stitches of the hem worked loose after she wore the skirt many times. Behave in a certain way when handled. This dough does not work easily. Cause to operate or function. This pilot works the controls. Exert oneself by doing mental or physical work for a purpose or out of necessity. I will work hard to improve my grades. Gratify and charm, usually in order to influence. The political candidate worked the crowds. Move in an agitated manner. His fingers worked with tension. Move into or onto. Work the raisins into the dough. Operate in a certain place, area, or specialty. She works the nightclubs. Operate in or through. Physics. A manifestation of energy. The transfer of energy from one physical system to another expressed as the product of a force and the distance through which it moves a body in the direction of that force. Work equals force times distance. Proceed towards a goal or along a path or through an activity. Work your way through every problem or task. Provoke or excite. The rock musician worked the crowd of young girls into a frenzy. The procedure of calculating. Determining something by mathematical or logical methods. Planning something carefully and intentionally. Problem solving that involves numbers or quantities. The procedure of calculating. Determining something by mathematical or logical methods. Problem solving that involves numbers or quantities. The procedure of calculating. Determining something by mathematical or logical methods. The branch of engineering science that studies, with the aid of computers, computable processes and structures. A procedure employed by medical or dental practitioners. A sustained phenomenon or one marked by gradual changes through a series of states. The psychological result of perception in learning and reasoning. The psychological result of perception in learning and reasoning. The psychological result of perception in learning and reasoning. Activity undertaken as part of a commercial enterprise. Activity undertaken as part of a commercial enterprise. Computer science. A series of operations on data by a computer in order to retrieve or transform or classify information. The state of being active. The trait of being active, moving or acting rapidly and energetically. A military engagement. He saw action in Korea. A judicial proceeding brought by one party against another. One party prosecutes another for a wrong done or for protection of a right or for prevention of a wrong. The operating part that transmits power to a mechanism. The piano had a very stiff action. Institute legal proceedings against. File a suit against. She actioned the company for discrimination. Put in effect. He actioned the operation. The state of being active. He is out of action. A process existing in or produced by nature, rather than by the intent of human beings. The action of natural forces. An act by a government body or supranational organization. Recent federal action undermined the segregationist position. Something done, usually as opposed to something said. There were stories of murders and other unnatural actions. The most important or interesting work or activity in a specific area or field. The action is no longer in technology stocks but in municipal bonds. The series of events that form a plot. His novels always have a lot of action. The trait of being active and energetic and forceful. A man of action. Ideas or actions intended to deal with a problem or situation. An attack on inflation. Attack in speech or writing. The editors of the left-leaning paper attacked the new House Speaker. Military, an offensive against an enemy, using weapons. The attack began at dawn. Take the initiative and go on the offensive. The Serbs attacked the village at night. A decisive manner of beginning a musical tone or phrase. Intense adverse criticism. The government has come under attack. Launch an attack or assault on. Begin hostilities or start warfare with. Hitler attacked Poland on September 1, 1939 and started World War II. Attack someone physically or emotionally. The act of attacking. Attacks on women increased last year. An offensive move in a sport or game. They won the game with a 10-hit attack in the 9th inning. A sudden occurrence of an uncontrollable condition. An attack of diarrhea. Begin to injure. The cancer cells are attacking his liver. Set to work upon. Turn one's energies vigorously to a task. I attacked the problem as soon as I got out of bed. Strong criticism. He published an unexpected attack on my work. The onset of a corrosive or destructive process, as by a chemical agent. The film was sensitive to attack by acids.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.